read off today's warm to you. Today's warm is about the Boxer Rebellion. Number one, the Chinese welcomed foreign countries to use their country for trade. Two, who ruled China in the early 1900s? Three, what land claim the United States make in Asia at this time? Four, what was the open door policy proposed by the United States? Five, what was the original goal of the Boxers? Six, what was the official name of the Boxers? Seven, how long were foreign diplomats able to hold off the Boxer attack? And eight, how long did the open door policy stay in effect? Boxer Rebellion. As the 20th century dawned on the world, China was being ripped apart. For centuries, the Chinese had been ruled by an emperor. In charge at the turn of the century was the Dowager Empress Cixi of the Qing dynasty. The situation was not good for the Chinese people. A drought in the northern part of the country had the people near starvation. Foreign countries such as France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Britain, and Russia had moved into China. They were claiming certain parts of the country as their own, and the army wasn't strong enough to do anything about it. The United States was making a move into Asia as well. After the Spanish-American War, the United States had laid claim to the Philippine Islands. They saw that other countries of the world were setting themselves up for trade centers by claiming land in China. The U.S. government knew that they would get nowhere by claiming land for themselves by using force. They decided to put themselves in a good position by using diplomatic means. John Hay was the United States Secretary of State at the time. He proposed a plan to all foreign powers who had established themselves in China. He called this plan an open door policy. It was his idea that all countries should have equal trading rights in the area. No one country would be allowed to cut out any other country from trade with the world. It was a fair and equal plan. Secretary Hay presented it to all other countries, and they agreed that it was fair. They also said they would not support or abide by it. Secretary Hay would not be deterred. He announced to the world that since all foreign trade countries had agreed to the plan in principle, the United States would consider it an agreement. While all these foreign nations were busy fighting with each other, Empress Cixi was busy herself. She was tired of her country being ripped apart by these nations who had no right to be there. She was trying to create a plan that would deliver her country back to the Chinese. There was a group of people making plans of its own. The group was called the Fist of Righteous Harmony. It was a secret society. This group called for the overthrow of the Empress and expulsion of foreign countries they felt were causing all the problems. The group grew larger every day. The Empress heard about this secret society and decided to use them to her advantage. She used members of her royal household to work with the group. The group became known as the Boxers. They got this name because they were proficient in the use of martial arts. Before long, the Boxers were supporting the Empress and calling for destruction of foreigners on their soil. In 1900, reports were made of Boxers attacking Christian missionaries in the Chinese countryside. They destroyed the missions and killed the people manning them. They moved from the countryside into the city. They picked up more and more followers as they moved to the larger cities. The foreign diplomats started to get nervous. The Boxers were getting stronger by the day. They appealed to the Empress. She told them she would see what she could do to help them. What they didn't know was that she was helping the Boxers instead. She assured the foreigners that this rebellion would be stopped by her soldiers. Instead, her army stood aside as the Boxers entered the capital. The diplomats from all the foreign countries banded together for their own protection. They gathered at a wall compound just outside of the walled Forbidden City in Beijing. What they faced was a force of 20,000 Boxers who had advanced on their compound. Though small in number, the military inside the compound was able to hold off the attack the Boxers. For almost 2 months, the siege continued. Food, ammunition, and medical supplies were running low. Then one morning, the diplomats awoke to a thunderous sound. What they saw was a column of armed men marching on their compound. When they looked closer, they saw the group was made up of men from their own countries. This group of well-armed and well-trained men was able to rout the Boxers in short order. This group of soldiers had been sent to China after the home countries had not heard from their diplomats in over a month. The soldiers went through the capital looting as they went. The Empress was forced to run away dressed as a peasant. The Qing dynasty was no more. After the Boxers were dispersed, the foreign countries proceeded to use the United States open door policy, 1900. Trade expanded and foreign countries continued to claim their own areas for trade development. This was a way of life in China until World War II, when they were able to shut the open door again in 1945. All right, you're going to answer us 8 questions if you would, please.